Clara received the old dust-covered chest from her grandmother's estate, she was more intrigued than alarmed. Inside, she found a collection of porcelain dolls, their delicate faces frozen in timeless expressions. That night, Clara placed the dolls on a shelf in her room, but as she lay in bed, the faint sound of whispering drifted through the air, sending shivers down her spine. The next morning, Clara noticed something odd. A doll she swore she had placed at the end of the shelf was now sitting at the center, staring directly at her bed. Later that day, Clara visited the local antiques shop to learn more about the dolls. The shopkeeper paled when she mentioned them, muttering something about the doll collector's curse. The shopkeeper explained that Clara's grandmother, Eleanor, had once been a famed doll collector. However, her obsession had turned dark, with whispers of mysterious disappearances surrounding her name. That night, Clara awoke to the sound of footsteps echoing down the hallway. She froze as she realized the sound was coming closer, and then stopped right outside her door. The next morning, Clara found a doll sitting on her nightstand, its porcelain hand pointing toward the attic. A small, handwritten note lay beneath it. "She's waiting." Though hesitant, Clara climbed the creaking stairs to the attic. The air grew colder as she approached a dusty mirror covered with a tattered sheet. Pulling the sheet away, Clara saw her reflection. But behind her, a doll moved, its head turning slightly toward the mirror. A voice whispered from the shadows, "You've inherited more than the dolls, Clara." The voice was unmistakably her grandmother's. Suddenly, the dolls in the attic began to move, their tiny limbs creaking as they turned to face Clara in unison. Eleanor's spirit revealed that the dolls housed the souls of those she had cursed. "Free them, Clara, or join them," she said with a wicked grin. Clara begged for answers, but Eleanor's voice faded, leaving behind only the sound of the dolls whispering her name. The whispers followed Clara throughout the house, growing louder with each passing hour, until she couldn't tell if they were inside her head or coming from the walls. One doll disappeared from the shelf entirely. Clara searched everywhere, only to find it sitting on her bed with a stitched smile that hadn't been there before. The next morning, Clara woke up with a faint, doll-like mark etched onto her wrist. The whispers now carried her grandmother's voice, urging her to return to the attic. Desperate for answers, Clara went to the local library to research her grandmother's past. She discovered a record of missing people, all linked to Eleanor's doll collection. The librarian whispered of a curse that Eleanor had brought upon herself when she made a deal with a sinister dollmaker to save her failing collection. Among the books, Clara found a set of instructions for breaking the curse. But the ritual required something horrifying, destroying the dolls and releasing their trapped souls. Clara smashed the first doll with trembling hands. A pale, glowing mist rose from its shards, and a faint, sorrowful voice whispered, "Thank you." The remaining dolls did not go quietly. They began to move on their own, leaping from shelves and trying to stop Clara from completing the ritual. As Clara destroyed more dolls, the shadows in the room began to twist and grow until the sinister figure of the dollmaker emerged, his grin unnerving and his voice cold. Only one doll remained, the one that looked eerily like Clara herself. The dollmaker warned her, "Destroy it, and you destroy yourself." With a scream of defiance, Clara smashed the final doll. The attic filled with a blinding light, and she collapsed as the curse lifted, the house falling silent at last. When Clara awoke, the dolls were gone, and the house was quiet. The air felt lighter, though a faint whisper still lingered in the shadows. Clara decided to sell the house and leave the past behind. But as she packed, she found a single porcelain doll tucked inside her suitcase. As Clara picked up the doll, it whispered, "You'll never leave me." Her scream echoed through the empty house as the screen faded to black. Some say Clara was never seen again, but the house now stands empty, its whispers waiting for the next unlucky soul to inherit the collection.